Hey everyone, we got the first morning market rundown of 2025. January 3rd, missed out on the first trading day, was away on vacation. So let's get into this chart and make some sense of it. So we have this whole Japanese yen trade that happened in August, and we put an anchor VWAP at that low. And from that rally up, we have a fib extension, and we haven't hit that 1.618 fib extension yet. So we have an anchored VWAP from the yen trade, handoff, and that's where we're pulling back to right now, is to that previous handoff trade. So we can see here on the intermediate time frame, this VWAP acted as a level of support, and it's continuing to do so. So we mapped out our situation on the last trading day that we said potentially that we could gap down, continue to fade underneath this 5-day moving average, which would be expected, or if we were able to push above, start to consolidate and get above the 5-day, we would make that purchase, and with the potential stop in this area. We could see that situation didn't play out, and this anchor VWAP, this 5-day moving average is not rising, nor is this anchor VWAP acting as a level of support anymore. So we could get rid of this. We could see it actually is acting as a level of resistance from this VWAP of the low. That was the Fed day. Got the Fed day that we traded above, tried to hold, and that's why I thought maybe we could hold above that Fed anchored VWAP and get above this previous high and fuel a push. But that didn't play out, and the situation to the downside played out, where we actually had a gap below the 5-day moving average, rallied into that anchor VWAP, pulled back, and is continuing, and trend is continuing to make lower lows and lower highs. Kind of with a nice green, red, neutral, and back to red bearish trend on the intermediate trend. So perhaps today, due to the fact now that we have a new year, okay, we had a really strong year last year. We're above rising 200-day moving average. We have last year's VWAP down here. Let's put a VWAP on last year's right here. And we'll just make this. Yeah, it's probably hard to see on the screen. We'll make it, we already have pink. We'll make it blue for now. So that's last year's year to date. It's not really relevant right now. Perhaps if we start to break down here, trade into the 200, then it can become relevant. But let's get back into the situation here on the intermediate time frame. And what I'd be looking for is to see if we could get a shakeout down to this 2-day VWAP, rally back above the 3-day and this week to date volume weighted average price, and maybe get that rally into that 5-day. And then we could potentially get a long scenario like this, setting up for next week. And maybe we could start to get a reversal here. So what would happen with the 5-day moving average is maybe we start to look something like this, because we'll start to add this data, and next week we'll start to add this data that starts to decline. So if we can shake out, rally up, and get going above this 5-day next week, by Tuesday, the data will be down here. So if we could get a quick rally up today, maybe Monday, inside day, maybe we keep going, but Monday pullback, and then Tuesday we could set ourselves up. We could actually have a very similar situation to this area, just like this, at that 5-day. So we'll get back into this neutral, and then come back, get maybe back into this conservative area, and bull to the green. And that's how it would happen, is as this data drops off. So let's see if we can get a shakeout to this 2-day VWAP, this 585.26, rally back above the daily VWAP, and that 3-day VWAP of 586.07. Then we could have the buyers in control for the past 1, 2, and 3 days, which perhaps could take out the week to date, and then we could trade into this 5-day moving average area that would be declining at this point in time. Just keep in mind. So maybe we rally up in here, and that could be a potential level. But keep in mind that this is guilty until proven innocent. So perhaps we could start to see something like this, like yesterday, where we rally into it and then just start to pour down and see some further downside. So it's just potential situations. And then what would happen here is as we break down below the week to date volume and average price, or maybe we rally into it. Maybe all we do is get a rally like this right into that. So instead of this playing out, we just get this decline. So if you wanted to be an aggressive shorter, maybe you go here with the stop underneath this week to date or here. But keep in mind the price has already dropped down. It's at a key level of support. And so that's the SPY trade plan and potential scenarios. Let's get into the QQQ. So the QQQ, we had a similar situation mapped out on the intraday time frame. We were looking for the rally above for it to start to consolidate and then start to get involved as this 5-day moving average starts to turn tides and we could catch this wave and ride it back up. But that didn't happen, and we gapped down underneath the 5-day moving average, rallied into it for the past 2 days pretty much, and have created lower lows and lower highs in this bearish trend. Again, bear trend, neutral with a declining slope, and it fails. So this is when you want to see this hold here, start to catch the 5-day guardrail and hold it and get going for a low risk. Maybe, but that didn't happen. So let's get rid of this stuff and talk about today's situation. So we can see in the daily time frame, we're pulling back to this 50-day moving average. And as we pulled back to the 50-day moving average, we didn't have a trend alignment with the intermediate time frame on this 30-minute time frame with the 5-day moving average. So we could see how that played out. And now what we're looking for today, it's going to be the same situation on the SPY, that maybe this was a little shakeout here and we get a rally up, pull back into this 2-day VWAP at 510.84, get back above a daily VWAP and 3-day, which could fuel a push to above that 513.22 week to date and maybe get us into that declining 5-day and maybe a little bit more upside continuation. And that 5-day gets looking something like this as we add the data today, and on Monday drops off and Tuesday drops off here. So perhaps maybe we get even a deeper shakeout. Well, if we could get it back above the 2-day and 3-day VWAP, then we have, just like stated on the SPY, the average buyer is in control over the past 3 days. So perhaps that could take out the week to date volume weighted average price, and that could create a little squeeze and a trade back up into this 519, 520, just above this declining 5-day moving average. So then perhaps this could pull back a little bit, and then we could look to participate up in this area. But if you're an aggressive day trader, you could trade this into that declining 5-day, and we could see what happens from there. Same situation as we talked about in the SPY. Just monitor that 513.22 and perhaps just a fast decline back down into this this September VWAP. So that's a key level here at this 498 area. So that's the potential scenarios looking for over the next couple days. And for today, just monitoring the 2 and 3-day VWAP, breaking the week to date to fuel the push up into this 516, 518, 520 area. Maybe we just get crazy strength that could fill the gap for the new year. But if we can't trade above this 511, 513 area and can't get back above daily VWAP, monitor a further decline back down into this 508 and potentially this 497 area. Hopefully this video was helpful, and enjoy your day.